These splits were unbelievable.
And a catchy Caleb Brunson. Australians gold. This was all Orion Pickett.
This is Katie Ledecky.
Leon Marchand, megastar of these Paris Olympics.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the action. It is night number 6 at these Paris Olympic Games. So much action here in the pool, so much drama, storylines. Caleb Dressel is back. Regan Smith with an impressive double. Katie Ledecky is in the pool to make history. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the results and see what we've got on the agenda. Because first up, we have the women's 200-meter butterfly. This is the final. Let me know, as always, in the live chat where you guys are joining me from. If you're watching this after the fact, engage in the comments. I have put out some videos recently that have been collecting lots and lots of comments. A lot of opinions are being shown. Let me see what you got in the comments. Be respectful, as always. The people to watch are McIntosh, who we saw defend her title. Well, I guess not a title, but she is the world record holder in the 400 IM. And if you can do the 400 IM well, we saw it with Leon Marchand, you can obviously do the 200 butterfly. We got to keep an eye on the Chinese swimmer. We got to keep an eye on the Americans as well. There's Shekel and Smith. And this is the 200 butterfly. They dive into the pool, 4 lengths butterfly. It just sounds painful saying that out loud. Chinese swimmer out to an early lead. A lot of speed. Regan Smith looked really good. I was thinking in the middle of the race, Regan Smith was going to show up and do something for Team USA. But as the race progressed, we're at 35 seconds right now into the race, 63 meters in. And as we progress, this turned out to be a 3-swimmer race for the gold. I did not plan that. After the semifinal, I really thought this would be a 2-person race. And even I was discounting this Chinese swimmer, but I shouldn't do that. I thought it would be these 2 swimmers right here, Summer McIntosh, Regan Smith. It ended up being a 3-person battle, and they had clear separation from the field. If you take a look at this, look at where they are relative to the rest of the field. This is at 153, so the race is almost over. Isn't that crazy that the men would have already finished? Leon Marchand was 151. Milek was 151 yesterday. And they have about 14 meters to go right here. That's 14 meters left in the race. And Summer McIntosh looking really good. Pay attention to the speed. She's moving at 1.5 meters per second, 1.41 meters per second, 1.47. So if I had no other context in this race and I could only look at this, you should already know what the result is going to be. These 2 swimmers will continue to pull away from the field because they are simply moving faster than everyone. 1.5 meter, I mean, we're talking about 0.1 meters per second differential between these 2 swimmers, and there's only a few seconds left on the shot clock. As we head into the finish, it is the Canadian star. This is Summer McIntosh from Canada. She's training in Florida, I believe. And this is her 2nd individual gold at these Olympic Games. She won the race in the 400 IM. We've seen her really dominant, and she's just a teenager. Also great to see Regan Smith breaks the American record in this 200 butterfly. She's smiling, and I love to see the sportsmanship. This is not the best screenshot of Summer McIntosh, but she was genuinely happy. And we see it as she gets out of the pool, and the crowd goes nuts. That is Summer McIntosh showing us how it is going on. Cheers from Brazil. Frank, I appreciate your comments. Summer is just amazing. She won the 200 easily. Pan yesterday. We got some drama to unravel here. There is so much fast swimming, despite the pool not being fast. I will restate it. The pool is not the fastest pool in the world. Is it the slowest pool in the world? No, it's probably better than that. But we are still seeing some great racing. This is a good comment I'll throw up here anyway. Stop reposting the Snoop Dogg thing. All right, well, let's go ahead and look at the results here. This is the final. You can see this really ended up being a 2-person race into the finish. You can see the top 2 contenders. That was Summer McIntosh, Regan Smith. Yufei Zhang from China was in there as well. And when you take a look at the rest of the field, they really fell off quite quickly. So when you look at the actual results, split by split, this is really important to look at. So I want you guys to pay attention right here. When you're looking at splits, look at the top 3 swimmers, and I want you to look at how they split it completely different. Pay attention right here. Yufei Zhang from China, she took it out so fast. Look at this. She was out in a 27.0, 31.7, so she was in the lead at a 58.8. But this is the 200 fly. she was spinning her wheels, or I don't know what happened. She just died. And now 32.6, 33.6. And look at these splits, 32.3, 32.3. Wow, I didn't even realize that. Both Summer McIntosh and Reagan Smith on the final 50 split almost identical, only 100th of a second, but it was too late because if you look at the 150 split, 131 to 130, Summer McIntosh had already built her lead, and that is why she is the Olympic champion from Canada. Shout out to all the Canadians in the house. You guys are great. Keep the comments coming. I appreciate it. Next up, we have the final of the men's 200-meter backstroke. Little bit of an upset that we saw in the semifinal. We saw Ryan Murphy not even make it in. We saw one of the best swimmers from the UK disqualified passing the 15-meter mark. And so this is the heat that we had. And I said it in the semifinal. I said it, Kosh from Hungary, he looked so good in the semifinal. It looked like he didn't take a single hard stroke. But there are other swimmers that we got to pay attention to in this heat. And I'm not going to name names. Of course, France represented in the house. We got South Africa. We have Greece. Hungary, of course, with Kosh. We have Switzerland, Germany, USA, and we have Spain. Love to see the international mix. Let me know who you guys are cheering for. Who are your favorites? And as we head off into the race, look who is off to an early speed. This is at the 100 mark. Look at the clock. We're at 1 minute and 2 seconds. This is the 15-meter mark after 100. So this is 115 meters in, and we have a clear favorite right now. This is the swimmer from Greece. We didn't know he was off the radar. He's 27 years old. He's obviously been doing this for a while at the international level. But to come in and make a statement and to take it out that fast at 115 meters into the race, he looked good all the way through. Even now, coming back on the second wave, look at the clock. We're at 136. He still has a commanding lead, but don't take your eyes off Kosh. He's in lane 4 for a reason. He was the fastest qualifier. I told you guys, he did not take a hard stroke the entire 200 in the semi, and that means he's going to have more speed. Look at the time. Look at the pace. He's moving at 1.64 meters per second. Our leader here out in that top lane, moving at 1.63 meters per second. That differential with about 30 meters to go, not even 30 meters to go, right? We're at 172 right here, 28 meters to go. That's what it's going to take to come home at the finish. I love this angle right here. Now we're at 175. We have this right here. This means 25 meters to go. He still looks good, but look at the time. 1.65 meters per second. The field is closing on him. And that's what made this race so exciting, because I thought he was going to pull out for Greece. Any Greece fans watching this? If you're from Greece, you better erupt in the comments, because this guy got on the podium. And it's not often you see a swimmer from Greece make it onto the podium. And this is for Hungary right here. I'm not sure if the colors are coming through on the stream. South Africa right there, Greece over here. And now let's go into the finish. And yes, this is Kosh. I think the image right here says everything. He is satisfied. He is relieved. He is happy. He is excited. He is an Olympic gold medalist. Once a gold medalist, always a gold medalist. You can never take that away from someone. This is Kosh. Yes, representing Hungary. This is amazing. Wow. This is great. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Why are we seeing so many two-stroke breathing in this Olympics? I think you're referring to the 200 butterfly. I don't know about you, but if you ever swam a 200 butterfly, it is painful. Dude, if I swam the 200 fly right now, whoo, baby, I would be breathing every stroke. I would not survive if I tried to breathe 2 up, 2 down. Let's go. I am from Greece. Okay, let's represent. So let's look at the comment. Okay, this is our dude right here. How do you say his name? Is it Chris Cho? How do you say this in Greece? Avcharisto. Thank you in Greek. That's all I know. And this is Kosh right here. And yeah, look at this. Look at this finish. That's the finish right there. You can kind of see it right here. This is Kosh. This is the swimmer from Switzerland. This is our Greek swimmer. Shout out from Greece, because in Greece, you know, I know there's some great swimmers, but to see them on the podium, we love to see it. We love to see the diversity of talent that comes through here. And as you can see, there's the times. Look how close it was into the finish on that podium. Wow, we got Hungary, Greece, Switzerland representing. Now, I think it's really important to pay attention to the times, because the times are really, really spectacular when you zoom in here. So let's take a look at the splits. Look at that. That's the difference right there. Do you see that right there? 28.8. He closed like a freight train. He had some left in the tank. Kosh over here. I mean, the time, we talked about the times, not really anything special. I mean, if you guys didn't know what the world record is, you might think, oh, maybe the world record is like a 153, 152. No, the world record is a 151.9 set in 2009 by the great Aaron Pearsall. And no, he wasn't wearing a bodysuit. The dude was wearing a leg skin. A leg skin. He did it in swimmingly fashion 15 years ago. So when you look at the times, it really came down to that final 50, but still pretty close. Look at that, how close it was for second and third. The rest of the field pretty far behind, but that's pretty cool. This is an African record. If you're wondering, I believe that's what that means. 155. That's pretty cool to see. Caleb Dressel is back in the building. Yes. Actually, before we talk about Caleb Dressel, let me go ahead and rewind just a little bit. Right here, there's a comment that's important. He came in from behind. That is correct. And Coach Bob Bowman. Yes, Coach Bob Bowman is coaching lots of top swimmers here. First Greek swimmer who won an Olympic medal. I mean, we love to see it, right? That's what it's all about. It's no fun if the Americans win all the events, right? We want to see, or the Americans and the Australians. We want to see at this competition the Aussies are doing very well, but we do want to see that diversity. And yeah, we're gonna keep things moving. And yeah, a few comments about my beard. By the way, I will have a new grooming. Keep an eye out for it. Maybe tomorrow you might see something a little bit different. Take a good look at it. It might look a little different tomorrow. Stay tuned. We're not shaving, but stay tuned. Caleb Dressel is back in the building. If you guys remember, Caleb Dressel won 5 Olympic gold medals in Tokyo. He only has gold medals. Caleb Dressel does not have any Olympic medals that are not gold. Think about that. He has 8 Olympic medals that are gold, all of them. He did not qualify in the 100 freestyle. Now, in reality, do we think he would have beaten Pan had he qualified? No, I don't think so. I don't think he would have gone under 46.4. Pan deserves that. Pan is a monster. But the 100 freestyle is over. Now we're on to the 50 freestyle. And we've got this guy right here for the Team US of A. And he is swimming the 50 freestyle. This is the semifinal. He's also got the 100 fly. He's also got the medley relay. He's also got potentially another relay, the mixed medley. We'll see what happens. But this is the first time we see. It's kind of like he went on vacation. He went to the Eiffel Tower, ate a baguette. But now he's back. And let's take a look at the lane assignments. He's up there in that top lane. You can barely see him. And you can see, I want you guys to keep an eye on lane 4. This is Mr. Crooks. He had an incredible NCAA season. You've got the French swimmer down here, Maxime Grosset, in lane 8. And I want you guys to watch what happens at 15 meters. Caleb Dressel right here, he has the best start in the world. You know who else has a really good start? This guy right here. That's Jordan Crooks right there. And let's take a look at what happens at the 15-meter mark. Guys, this is ridiculous. I want you, the next time you go to a swimming pool, okay, I want you to start at the end of the pool. And I want you to time how long it takes you to just walk to the 15-meter mark, okay? Then I want you to do it when you go running to the 15-meter mark, right? That's it. Now, it's a bad drawing. Let me do it again. Now, in a normal pool, a 25-meter pool is going to end over there. If you're in the United States, a 25-yard pool is about 10% shorter. This is the end of a 25-yard pool. Of course, not drawn to scale. And I want you to look at the clock. They are at 4.6 seconds. This is Caleb Dressel. This is Crooks. They are reaching 15 meters in less than 5 seconds. I literally want you to go to the pool next and run from the start of the pool, and I want you to run on the pool deck to 50 meters and see how long it takes you to get running. This is ridiculous. Okay, so like I'm a decent swimmer, and these guys would beat me by like over a second to get to the 15 meters. I mean, 4 seconds is no joke. It's a lot of speed. They're setting themselves up to go 21, if not 20 point, and it is ridiculous. So let's take a look as the race continues. It's a complete whitewash. I mean, any of these guys could win it. You don't know what's going to happen. Now we start to see some separation because we're at 19 seconds into the race, which means it's pretty much over. We see Caleb Dressel. He's looking pretty good. Crooks. How about Maxime? And if you notice, all of these swimmers are either in the middle or the outside. These guys right here are getting destroyed by the wash. They are not getting clean water. Caleb Dressel is like a motorboat. He's creating all these waves around him. This guy is in the lead. He's creating waves, and he's creating waves. And so as a result, these guys are just getting wrecked behind them. They are not, their initial catch, they're not getting clean water, and it slows them down. Crooks is able to get away from that because he's in the middle, and he's ahead of them. And as we look at the results, that's exactly what happened. Crooks takes the win, 21.54. Dressel in second. Grousset is in third place. And if you notice, these guys right here got left behind holding the bag. Next heat, we have Flora Manadou, the French favorite in this event. You cannot take your eyes off this guy tomorrow in the final, okay? He is the gold medalist from 2012 in this event. He was on the podium in 2016. He was on the podium in Tokyo. Do you think he's going to get on the podium in France, his home country? I would say, given him and the other swimmer, there's a high likelihood France is taking a medal tomorrow. Could you imagine if they get 2 medals in the 50 freestyle? But this guy is someone to watch. We're going to have to keep an eye on him. If we look at the lane assignments, he's right there in lane 5. In this scenario, I would say this is probably the worst lane to be in. Any of these lanes, unless you're Pan and you go out ahead of the field and you have clean water and you destroy everyone. If you go way faster than everyone, doesn't matter what lane you're in, you're going to go fast. But in this pool, we've seen it's a slow pool. In the wash, it's going to be very difficult to have peak performance. Take a look at Proud, McAvoy, Manadou. All of these swimmers, like anyone in this field could win it. Liendo from Canada. All of these guys. And when they dive in the water, similar thing. I paused it at 4.5. You can kind of see where they're at. And you can see Ben Proud had the best start out of the field. Ben Proud and Caleb Dressel and even Manadou, right? Manadou is right there. There's McAvoy. Let me put some labels on it. We got Ben Proud, Cam McAvoy. This is Florent Manadou. These are the 3 guys that we're going to watch tomorrow in the final. But remember, there's a big wash. They're creating a washing machine. And as you can see, if you don't get in front of it, you're basically doomed. You're not getting clean water. Look how fast these guys are going. 2.03 meters per second. Wow. That is fast, ladies and gentlemen. And into the finish, you can see what this looks like. This is McAvoy. Now, what ended up happening is these guys both tied for first place. Ben Proud, this is Ben Proud, and this is Cam McAvoy. And they tied for first place. Now, you might be thinking, how do they tie? Well, actually, Ben Proud is ahead. Look at his head. But he had a floater finish, and McAvoy had a more firm finish right there into the wall. But by touchpad, they actually tied. And when you look at the results, there they are. That's the tie right there that we're looking at, which is pretty insane. Now, you might be thinking, oh, wow, Manadou barely got in there. I think that is the best lane he could possibly be in. It's going to be insane because these swimmers, the French, are actually going to be next to each other. I think if Manadou can get off on a better start, bam, he's going to have clean water on the outside lane, and he is going to be dangerous. We could see someone win it from the outside lane. Obviously, you don't want to forget about the guys who qualified first, second and third and fourth. We got Dressel in there, but they're going to be fighting the wash. And, it's going to be tough to compete when it's a slow pool, 50 freestyle. There's going to be a lot of chaos out there. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. It's going to be insane. Ben Proud is yet to win a medal individually, 4th in Rio and 5th in Tokyo. I appreciate this comment. Thank you for dropping the knowledge. I was thinking back as to what his placing was in the past. To see him at the top, to see him at the World Championships, he's been very consistent at dropping 21 lows on the international circuit. Even domestically, I think at his trials, he was a 21. So that's going to be really good. Would Pan have a chance in the 50? Yes, absolutely. To put it in perspective, okay, to put this in perspective of how fast this guy was yesterday, he took out the 100 to his feet in a 22.2. Let's say he didn't do a flip turn. He just touched the wall. It's reasonable to think that breathing every single stroke, he would have gone a 21.8, breathing every stroke. Now, let's just say he didn't breathe every stroke. He only took like 2 breaths or 1 breath, the whole 50. Now he's at a 21.5, 21.4. And then, if he does it no breath at that level, he can probably do it no breath. Yeah, of course he's going to be 21 low. The question is, who's going to win in the final? He's not in the final, and so we're not going to know what he could have done in the 50 free because he's not here. We got some pride for McAvoy. McAvoy is from Australia. Remember, we do have the rivalry. How much noise would this race be if Manadou or one of the French swimmers, they're going to have 2 in the final. Can you imagine if they won in their home country? Look at this stadium, guys. 15,000 people. When Marchand was winning, oh, man, it's going to be nuts. Yes, there is a women's 50 freestyle. Good question. Ben deserves it. You know, I'll tell you, all of these guys deserve it. Like, really? Yeah, the top guys don't breathe in this event. Everyone here deserves their shot on the podium because they're all working really hard. We know everyone to get to this level. These are the best in the world. So, you know, if you ever get a chance to see or meet one of these guys or girls, you know, huge respect to them because of what they do. And they're professional athletes at the end of the day. Here's the results broken down. You can see, I think one of the upsets here was Josh Liendo didn't make it back, 21-6. But Manadou snuck in there with a 21-6. He did make it back. Just goes to show how crazy it is in these events. Next event we have is the women's 200 breaststroke, and all eyes are on Kate Douglas. I was at the U.S. Olympic trials when she dropped the absolute hammer in this event. She almost broke the world record in the prelim swim in the morning. She went for it. Her distance per stroke is ridiculous. Her times in the 200 breaststroke in yards are absolutely mind-blowing. She has the best pullouts in the world, probably the best pullouts we've ever seen on the women's side in swimming history. She's so fast. She's so dominant. But let's not take our eyes off of Smith. Smith is, if I don't want to remind you, she is the gold medalist in the 100 breaststroke. You cannot count out the defending champion and the person who just won gold in the breaststroke. Here's the lane assignments. We've got Kate Douglas. She was the fastest qualifier in the morning. We have Smith, Tatiana from South Africa. She was the second fastest. We have Lily King. She's an Olympic gold medalist in the breaststroke events. We can't take an eye off any of these ladies, but at the end of the day, we knew it would be a 2-person battle in the middle of the pool. And as they are off into the water, we are at 20 seconds in. This is the 35-meter mark. If you're wondering where we are in the pool, take a look at the speed differential right now. How about this for France? She is moving faster than everyone, but we got Kate Douglas right here, 1.41 meters per second. And then we have Smith at 1.37. Now, breaststroke is difficult because there's different speeds of the stroke, right? When you kick forward and you're in streamline, you're like a torpedo, and that's when you're moving the fastest. When you come up to take that breath in breaststroke, this is actually the slowest part of the stroke, and you can't expect that number to be as fast. So they're at kind of different phases of the stroke. You can kind of see that right here. You see how she's breathing and hasn't gotten to extension yet, and that's why her time is a little bit slower. As we progress into the race, this swimmer from France really showing up and putting in the work. This is turning into a 3-person battle. This is at the 100 mark, and they were under the world record pace at the 100 mark and the 50 mark. They are flying right now. Again, this is a 3-person battle, and Tatiana is making her move right there. You see it right there. She is making her move. Great extension of streamline, but every single wall, Kate Douglas is able to pull ahead of her because she has better pullouts. And it just goes to show, imagine in a short course pool, 25-meter distance pool, that is why it is pretty much impossible to beat Kate Douglas. It's why her NCAA times are ridiculous, kind of like Leon Marchand. I mean, we saw Marchand do it in the long course pool, but you put that guy in a short course pool, and it is game over. As you can see here, it is anybody's race at this point because you don't really know what's going to happen. You don't know who has more gas in the tank. You don't know on this final 50. Really, anyone can make it happen. And as we turn for the final stretch home, it is all... Well, got a phone call. There we are. We're back. It is anyone's game plan, anyone's race. Douglas is looking good. She's fallen off a little bit. Look at that surge that Tatiana had in the finish. We're at 2:11. World record is upon us, but no world record. But we do have the Olympic champion, and that is Kate Douglas of the USA, and that is an individual gold medal. We'll see her again in the 200 IM, perhaps on a relay, another relay. We'll take a look at that. And here's the final standings. Look at how close it was. Tatiana Smith came in at the end to make it close, to make it interesting. And look at the rest of the results. I mean, we did have a big drop-off in the field. I want you guys, that's Lily King right there. I want you guys to pay attention to what the world record is. I mean, the world record is a 2:17. Wow. 2:17. That's quick. And Tatiana Smith, this is from the Tokyo Olympics. She has the Olympic record, 2:18.9. That is going to stand. Let's take a look at these splits, though. This is Kate Douglas, and this is Tatiana Smith right there. Look at how consistent. 31.8, 35-2, 35-8, 36-3. She died a little bit at the end there. And when you look at Tatiana, how she split this, she really pushed in that middle 100. 31-6, 35-6, 35-8, 36-5. So actually, both of them did fall off at the end. Pretty much this entire heat just kind of fell apart on the last 50. Let's call it what it is. And when you take a look at the splits, how did this world record get broken? Out in a 107.2. Okay, well, we were out in a 107.0, 107.2, 107.5. All of these swimmers were out basically at world record pace. But this back half is really what made it happen. And you can see here, we basically just died on these final 50 splits. And if they had held a little bit better, especially actually it'd have to do it on the third 50 as well, have to be faster there as well, then we would have seen a world record. They didn't fall off. I think we're seeing with the slow pool, basically if you're not in a shorter event, you can go really fast because the ricochets off the bottom aren't going to impact you as much, assuming you have clean water. In the breaststrokes, we're seeing some really slow times, I think because it's such an inefficient stroke, and with the kicks and the depth and the cameras, it's just really exaggerating how slow the times are. I almost guarantee if this was done at the U.S. Olympic Trials pool at Lucas Oil Stadium, what I witnessed in person a month ago, I'm pretty sure we would have seen a world record. I'm pretty sure the differential from 219, I am almost confident we would have seen a sub 27, whatever the world record is, sub 217.5. I think we would have been underneath that. 2 seconds into 200. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it is what it is. Actually, let's see what comments we have from you guys on the pool deck. Here we go. Go Douglas. Yeah. Oh, I got hot takes on the relay. Stay tuned. Yeah, the underwaters are critical, guys. The underwaters are critical. This is Smith's last race of her career. Ah, did she retire? That's some good tea. I didn't know that. I did not know that she retired if she announced that, but you never know. People make a comeback. I mean, look at Michael Phelps. Look at Anthony Irvin. Look at all these guys. Even Dana Vollmer. She had a child and then came back and won another medal. Like, that is insane. Okay, let's go ahead and keep things moving because we have a little bit more action to be had. This is the double. We have Reagan Smith back in action for the 200 backstroke. There she is right there. We just saw her swim a 200 fly, kind of like we saw Leon Marchand do the double, 200 fly, 200 breast. Now we've got another double. But look at Kylie right there from Canada. She has the fastest seed into this first semifinal. Bacon for the USA. She has incredible underwaters. We're going to see what that looks like here on the start. And this is that underwater I'm talking about. Look at that. Remember, this is the 15-meter mark. You cannot cross that 15-meter mark. Your head has to pop up. Your hands can actually cross it underwater, but your head has to pop up before that. And we look at the clock. That is insane. 6 seconds to get to 15 meters. Not quite as ridiculous as the men in the 50 free. They're taking 4 seconds, you know, but hey, we're on our back in the water start. On the women's side, that is pretty darn quick. Now, as we progress into the race, this is at 1:44. It's a 3-person battle. Remember, this is a semifinal, so all they have to do is qualify in the top 2, 3, 4. They're almost guaranteed in the final. You could theoretically get third in your semifinal and not make it into the final. That's really unlikely. So as long as they do a pretty decent job, they'll get their lane assignments. And the next heat, we have our Australian superstar. This is Kaylee McEwen from Australia. Team GB. Now, here's the thing, guys. I don't even know if they called it. I put the results together right before we went live. We're going to find out if they DQ'd someone because I think they should have DQ'd someone. This swimmer right here in lane 3 should have been disqualified, and I actually don't know if they did the DQ, so we're going to look at the results together and see my reaction in real time. Isn't this fun? So let's take a look at why I think she should have been disqualified. I think it's right there. Let's zoom in. This is that 15-meter mark, and you can see her head is still underwater, and she clearly passed it. I remember I was watching this live, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, well, she just DQ'd. Are they going to call this? Are they not going to call it? And they finished the race live, and they didn't take her off the results. And I have nothing but respect for all these athletes. But when I saw that they didn't make the DQ, I was like, wait a second. What are the officials doing? There's literally a person standing right here. Like, do you see that? This is their legs right here. There's literally a person standing, and their only job is to watch if someone's head passes this mark. Now, sometimes there's hard calls, but this isn't even close. This is like a full meter ahead. So let's go ahead and advance through the race, see what happens. And this is her right there. I don't know if that's why they circled her, but she's doing pretty well. She ended up getting, I think, third in the heat. There she is, and they didn't disqualify her on the results. So when we look at the final, this is going to find out. Her name is Ostrin. Did she get DQ'd? They did not DQ her. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What is going on? What is going on? She's right there. And she should have been DQ'd. So maybe something's going to change. Maybe the officials were sleeping on the job, but that's pretty insane. In any case, wow, that's my real reaction, guys. I'm just a little disappointed. Again, respect to all the swimmers, but clearly, whoever is in 9th place right there from France, France could have had another person in the heat. She would have bumped up if there was a DQ. But it is what it is, guys. I don't make the rules. Let's see some hot takes on the comments here. You know what I think this is? I think this is actually a good point. Why are the American swimmers just dying at the end of races? I think, and this is worthy of its own video, I think the U.S. Olympic trials is such a big meet. It's so competitive. The swimmers have to really focus a lot of their effort more so on the trials than the Olympics. Unless you're like a Michael Phelps or whatever, and he could just train through the trials because he was so good, he knew he could make it to the Olympic team. But the U.S. trials are so competitive. All of these athletes and their coaches have to put literally 99.99% of everything that they have into qualifying for the team in the first place. And then what ends up happening is the Olympics come 5 weeks later, but they've already physically prepared their body to perform 5 weeks earlier. So even though you have an extended taper and the environment of the Olympics, even if this was a faster pool, I think that's one of the contributing reasons we're seeing Americans not be able to step up like maybe they have, because our Olympic trials, from two perspectives, our Olympic trials is so competitive. It's way more competitive than any other country in the world just to make the team. And so we are actually hurting ourselves because we're not able to perform when it actually matters to winning medals. I think that's one reason. I think the other reason why we're seeing the Americans not perform as well at the Olympics is simply the fact that our Olympic trials is the best swim meet in the world. I mean, I was just there a month ago. The way, the atmosphere, the pool, the environment, you're also in your home country, English speaking, right? And the Americans are not used to traveling to other places with the different environment, right? You take into account the lack of air conditioning in France and just being a different environment in Europe, right? Americans are probably the least adaptable from that perspective because everything is always so perfect for them. And then you go to the fastest swimming pool in the world and you have the most competitive environment just to make the Olympic team. And sure enough, we go slower at the Olympics. And I think this trend will actually only continue unless something changes about how things are qualified, because the U.S. Olympic trials is only getting more competitive. The venue and the environment that we are creating is only getting better. It's literally better than the Olympics. And then you go to the Olympics, which has suboptimal environment, and you've been tapering for 5 weeks longer, and you expect someone to go faster at the Olympics than the Olympic trials? Come on, get out of here. So yeah, those are some hot takes right there. Should the trials be earlier then? That could do it. Maybe it's 6 months before. I'm not really sure. But there's definitely a lot of other contributing factors. And similar to what I made the video about why the pool is slow, it's not just the pool depth. I think the pool depth is one contributing factor, but that's not the primary thing. There's so many other things that contribute to peak performance. And I mean, crap, the U.S. Olympic trials is set up to be the best competition in the world. Like, no question. It's literally the best competition in the world. So how do you expect to go faster from that if you had to put everything in the basket, all the eggs in one basket just to make the team? That is my hot take. All right. Next up, we have the semifinal of the 200 IM. We have Leon Marchand is back in heat number 2. Keep an eye on Foster. He won a medal in the 400 IM. Duncan Scott, what an animal he is for Team GB. And we got 2 Aussies in there, and we have 2 Team GBs. They're into the water. This is the butterfly. I love the 200 IM. I said it before. I'll say it again. The 200 IM is the determining factor of who is the best swimmer in the world. If you win the 200 IM, you're technically the best swimmer in the world, because if you're good at the 200 IM, you're probably good at the 100 of every single stroke. You could probably hang in there for a 200 of every stroke as well. You could probably swim the 100 free. You can definitely swim the 200 free. You could probably swim the 50 free pretty fast as well. And we see Leon Marchand in the next heat, and he's a good example of that. We'll see it tomorrow. Right off the bat, we have 3 swimmers asserting themselves in the lead. It's early. It's fly. In the backstroke, it looks like it's going to be these 4. And then we go into the breaststroke, same 3. And then into the finish, it is these 3 right there. Next heat, it's a little cut off because these guys are so fast off the block, I couldn't even get it. This is Leon Marchand. Actually, wrong person. This is Leon Marchand. He's in lane number 5. He dives in the water, and he basically led the race almost from start to finish. This is Shane Cassis from the United States. He has so much raw speed. Look at this. He is flying. I know it doesn't look like it because 1.17 or 1.71 to 1.79. But again, it's the timing of the stroke. When you put that lunge forward, this is going to end up being 1.8 meters per second. And they both came into the wall at about the same time. They turn, and Marchand has asserted his dominance as the best swimmer in the world in the semifinal. He took control about pretty early on in the backstroke away from Cassis. He's maintaining in breaststroke. He's just chilling. Now, the question is tomorrow, can he break the world record? It's going to be tough. Even after seeing him dominate the 4IM, even after seeing him dominate the 2 fly, the 2 breasts, I think this is going to be his hardest world record. It is so hard that even the great Michael Phelps could not break this record. It is held by Ryan Lochte. Remember that name? Ryan Lochte, one of the greatest swimmers of all time. He has like 12 Olympic medals. I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he is, how much he pushed Michael Phelps, because Michael Phelps would not have done what he did, time-wise especially, if he didn't have a Ryan Lochte to push him on. Marchand is amazing. Yeah, he is. And Marchand did kill the back. But when we take a look at the final standings here into the finish, Marchand's looking pretty good. It's going to be a race tomorrow. I don't think so. I think Marchand is going to control the entire race. I think about, he might not be first at the 50 fly. There might be someone with early speed. But after about 75 meters, it's going to be the Leon Marchand show. And we'll see how the 50 freestyle goes. We got a 50 free. We got 2 French swimmers made the final in the 50 free. We're going to see Marchand in this 200 IM. There's the final standings. To keep it in perspective, the world record in this event is a 1:54.00, and that was Ryan Lochte. The fastest Michael Phelps was ever able to go was a 1:54 low. And between Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte, they're the only guys to have gone 1:54 low multiple times. And we saw Michael Phelps win this event 4 times. Michael Phelps won the 200 IM 4 times. It is why he is the greatest Olympian of all time. It's why he's the greatest swimmer of all time. And I guess Marchand has to win this event if he wants to be in a conversation of course, not greatest of all time. I mean, Michael Phelps is the greatest of all time, but to at least be in the conversation of greatest swimmer of this generation. If you think Michael Phelps was the last generation and Marchand is like this new generation of younger swimmers, we'll see him in 2028, hopefully, maybe 2032. That sounds like so far away from now to think about 2032. He's a relatively young swimmer. And yeah, Marchand has so much underwater speed. You're not going to... He has a little left in the tank, 155 low or lower. I actually think Marchand's going to be a 154. He's just not going to break the world record. We kind of saw it with the 400 IM. He was good, but not that good. Look at these 2 times. I think we need to pay some respect here, okay? Let's pay some respect to 2 of the greatest swimmers of all time. Look at these splits, right? This is Ryan Lochte's world record. He's a 24.8, out in 53.4 on the back, and then he was blazing all the way through. That's a 33.0 on the breaststroke. We know Marchand can split a 32 there, but Ryan Lochte had a monster freestyle split at the end. The Olympic record, this is going to be on watch tomorrow. I even think that could stay. I think Marchand for France right here is going to end up going a 154. We'll have to tune in tomorrow and find out what he did. It's really this split right here that's going to hold him back. I think he will be under world record pace at the 150, but unless he can put together like a 27 point like these guys can, he can't be dropping a 28. He's not going to break the world record if he drops a 28. He's got to go 27. I don't know if he has it in him. I would love to be proven wrong. And we see the top 8 right there. Shane Cassis, who led at the fly. Unfortunately, he fell off a little bit. Look at that, 24.4. You animal. Pace yourself, dude. Yeah, he didn't have enough left in the tank on the backstroke and the freestyle, let's call it. And that's what cost him. So this is sport. This is what happens. It's going to be absolutely insane. Now let's take a look at the most decorated Olympians of all time on the women's side. We have Katie Ledecky, and she has, look at this. Look at these numbers. 12 medals, 8 of them gold, 3 silver, 1 bronze. Look at that. And she has one more event to go, the 800 free. But first, we have the 4x2 relay, and all eyes are on Team Australia. Team Australia looking to upset the Americans once again. They upset the Americans in the 4x1 relay, and today they're looking to do it in the 4x2 relay. But the Americans have something to say about that. The Americans, Team USA, want to represent. This is Team USA, and we've got Ledecky. She's in the pool for action and can make Olympic history. She is in there, lane 6. Now, she didn't lead off. We had a few different swimmer exchanges. Ledecky went 3rd, I believe. And when we have here Team Australia right there, we're going to flip through this quick because I want to look at the results. That's where we see what happens. We have Team China, Team Australia, Team USA. This is the first leg of the race. This is the longest relay in the Olympic program. You have the men's version of this, but the men are faster. The only thing that's close to this is the men's 4x2 relay. Next, you got to go down to the 400 medley relay, the 4x1 medley. There's a mixed version. This is now at about halfway through the race, about 400 meters. Team Australia still has the lead. And now heading into, this is Ledecky. This is Ledecky. This is the third leg. We're about to hit 600 meters. And she closed the gap to almost be equal to Team Australia right there, heading into the finish. And as we look, Team Australia with a monster anchor split pulls away from the United States. She was on pace for the world record. We didn't see it, but there was like a world record. No, it didn't look like that. She wasn't ahead of the world record. The world record line was like right there. And I was like, world record, let's go. We almost saw world record. And then there was no world record. But it was good enough for an Olympic record. And we see that team. Look how close that was. The world record, or the world record was a 7:37.5. Yeah, that's not how you write numbers, but you get what I'm saying. They were literally half a second off the world record. Boy, it would have been cool to see a world record. We still only have one world record at these Olympics so far. Remaining event, 800-meter freestyle. How about this? Ledecky, 13. Record, 13. Gold medals by a woman, 8. Gold medals. Wow. Ledecky's a monster. Isn't that amazing? Good for her. Team USA is proud despite not getting the gold, having Olympic history. Ledecky's leg was amazing. Let's go ahead and take a look right here. The question was, would you have put Ledecky on the final leg? You got to remember, Ledecky had not been looking sharp in the sprint events. In the 400, she didn't look very fresh. She also didn't qualify in the 200, so it was difficult to put her first or last because they didn't expect her. They had low I know that's crazy to say, but they didn't have the highest expectations for her. And when you look at the splits, none of the times were even that impressive. I mean, look at this leadoff for Australia, 153.5, and that's Molly O'Callaghan. She is the defending Olympic champion in this event. And when you look at the splits, the reason why it looks so dramatic, Ledecky split you can't see it. Ledecky split a 154.9, and that's why it looked like she closed the gap so much, because she was competing against a 156.0. So if you guys are watching the race, Ledecky dove in from behind. She closed the gap. She made it really interesting. If you look at the splits right here, we're at 545.1 to a 545.4. And so that's why it looks so close at the 600 mark. But Ariane Titmus, I mean, are you kidding me? 152.9 to the Americans' Erin Gemmel, 155.4. I mean, that's not even a race. That is not even a race. But because you have these two superstars in the first and fourth position, what else are you going to say? And that's why Team Australia, look at that world record. World record was 737.50, and Team Australia 738.08. I mean, they were right there. It's a new Olympic record. Congratulations to Team Australia. You guys done yourself proud, but the competition is not over. We still have a lot more action from Paris. And if you guys want to see all the drama about Pan breaking the world record in the 100 freestyle, shocking the world, could be the only world record that we see at these entire Olympic Games, the 19-year-old from China, all the drama, make sure you check out this video right over here. I'll see you over there, and happy swimming. Peace.